and it still has.
Whew, pregnant again, but 3 kids. So that's 4 kids, 4 baby daddies, more poverty, more suffering, and no help. And I don't know what it is about these black women from the inner city. Look like they are used to struggle, they're used to suffering, and I don't understand. You have to think about yourself.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to piggyback a little bit to give some real clarity to what this black woman is talking about dealing with NYCHA, because I literally worked with them. This black woman, sad to say, is exactly what Pretty Black Magic is talking about, because let me just explain the facts about this situation. She lives in NYCHA, which is New York City Housing Authority, right? So she lives in the project. Clearly, going by her, how can I put it so I don't sound harsh? Because I don't want to sound harsh. This is just the mentality that too many black women have, and they need to stop it, right? Going by her false self-pity, right? What she's doing is appealing to the public for things that the public cannot do anything about outside of voting differently and literally sending her some type of monetary, sympathy. But this is the thing. When you go in here and you're trying to appeal to people, I guess for your own benefit, she needs to be careful about the words she chooses and the information she gives out. Case in point, she explained that, let me sit down for this, it's going to take a little while. She explained that she lives in the project, she has an attorney, she's in court, and every day she's adding a new repair to her list. Let me explain something to y'all. Nothing in New York City happens or exists without rules and regulations when it comes to a New York City municipal agency, which New York City Housing Authority is. It is owned by the city. So therefore, if you go on Google and you would Google like New York City Housing Authority, repairs, abatement, anything to do with New York City, it's going to come up. It legally has to. Because if this woman wanted to sue the city, she could. And I don't mean just for the repairs. I mean personally for, let's say, and there are procedures for this within housing that she knows about, because every resident in the project has a housing assistant, okay? They have a property manager and an assistant property manager. So therefore, right, when they're doing all these complaining, it's not like their housing assistant and the manager who manages the property doesn't know this is going on. The problem lies with the fact that, and those of you that follow news from New York City know that the projects has been neglected for decades. So the infrastructure of those apartments, as far as the pipes, the electricity, the I would say the asbestos, everything that makes up a building is in the poorest shape imaginable, because those projects deal with third-party construction and everything else, meaning they gotta wait for somebody else who comes, just like every other building, but because it's the city and they know they're not going to get fined, because the city is not going to fine and regulate itself. All right, there's no overview or overwatch for New York City. There isn't. The mayor isn't in control of that. So the mayor's not going to chastise himself. Okay, so she's complaining about these things, and it's a thing of people trying to prolong work for contracts to make more money. Property managers, housing assistants, assistant managers don't do their jobs properly. The tenants don't get together and actually do what they can do with their tenant association. They don't vote the way they're supposed to vote. They don't come together and become a strong political bloc. And let me tell you something, that is not all New York City projects. Because right here by me, there's a Jewish project, and it's not supposed to be like that, but this is how people, when they politically pull together, they could get what they want. When I say Jewish project, it's illegal for them to have a completely Jewish project. So of course they have Hispanic people and a few black people in there with them, but no one can get into that project. if they want to. It's right by, what is that expressway? Hold on, give me a minute, y'all. It's Van Wyck Expressway. I don't know what the hell they calling it today. They changed the shit so many times. Jackie Robinson, I don't know what the fuck it's called right now. I just know how to drive it. So anyway, all these projects are not like this. When the citizens of the area and the tenants stand up, you get good projects. When you're complacent, like this young lady right here, because think about what she's saying, and think about all the horror stories you have seen on the news about how people have their ceilings about ready to fall down on them, the floors are warping. And I know this because I have been in those apartments and have to go to court and challenge. It's a lot, believe me. When you work for them, it's a lot because they don't take care of the repairs properly. So, but in knowing this, tenants also know that all this information, a lot of it is online and right there in the property manager's office. And if the property manager or somebody doesn't want to give you the information to how to know what your rights are, you have a right to go to court and force them to do it, the same way she's doing right now. So she is aware of her rights. And if she's aware of her rights and she has an attorney, she knows that she could get an abatement for the repairs, and the judge can literally tell them to move her out of that apartment, put her in another apartment until that one is properly repaired, right? And then she could go back. Or she could put in for a repair transfer because her apartment is so jacked. All of this has to be approved by the judge though. And she could transfer to a totally different project, new apartment, all that, with repairs needed. Or if she just went into the office and said, you know what, I don't like living here anymore, I want to put in for a transfer to another project, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it takes a long time depending on the other building and the vacancies. And sometimes if you just say, I don't care where I go, it could be really quick, as quick as the next day or during the same week. I have processed those transfers. So for this lady to come on here and be frustrated with the situation, she is completely correct, and she is completely within her right to be frustrated with people treating her like she does not matter. That's true. However, she doesn't have to stay in that situation. Not at all. They could loan her out too. If that place is so horrible like she's saying, they literally can put her in a hotel too. There's so many things they could do. And believe me, y'all, and I'm not just trying to like shit on her or, you know, anything like that. I'm just telling you the facts, right? She has an attorney. So if she has a decent attorney doing the right thing by her, this attorney has already brought all this stuff up and more to the judge that I'm telling you. I mean, like, here in New York City, if your apartment is so fucked up and you go to the court, even me, and there's some repair that they won't make, or they've been keeping me from using certain parts of my apartment or terrace or whatever, I could go to the judge and ask for an abatement on my rent. And my rent will be reduced, proratedly reduced to the entire time that I did not have access, or I was denied a service or whatever, an amenity, because they didn't make the repair properly and in a timely manner. You could do that kind of shit here. So when she's complaining, I don't really know why she's complaining. Maybe she's just putting it out there for YouTube. I can understand that. But she does have a lot of recourses. I would not lie to you. And the fact that she's staying in that situation tells you a lot about her, because this is another thing I gotta tell you. New York City Housing Authority has jobs for their tenants. It's called the REASE program, right? And when you live in the projects, any job for the city that you pass and take the test for, they will give you priority to get that job because you live in the projects over a person like me or anybody else who doesn't live there and lives anywhere else. They cater to them. And they do it because they understand that a lot of the people, not all of them, do not get it twisted. A lot of people in the projects have a lot of money. But the ones that are there and they're impoverished, they give them the opportunity to come up in society. If this lady does not take advantage of that shit, she's doing that because she wants to sit stagnant with that mentality of, oh, you know, the whole world is against me and nobody is looking out for me. That's not it. Because you could go to college for free in this state. She's in the projects. And she got 5 babies, and she's sitting there with time to cry on YouTube about repairs in her apartment. So that means that she's probably on public assistance, not trying to diss her, but just being honest, right? Or do you know you can live in the projects without having any income? She could be in the projects and literally be there having family contributions to her household where, let's say if I was her mother and I said, okay, I'm gonna give you like $500 a month to live on. They will adjust her rent to her monthly income. And in the projects, your rent is 30% of your income. So if she's making getting $500 a month, it's only 30% of the $500. And then if she needs public assistance to help her with electricity, they only help with electricity. She could get a heat, I think it's a heat lamp one time for $50. So it's so many things here. The point is, I'm trying to tell y'all, the point is, she don't need to be crying. She needs to get her ass up, stop having those kids with people. It's not even about not having the kids. You know what it's about? Get out of that mindset of all you want to do is fuck around with loser ass dudes, stay poor, create other people and birth them into a stagnant, going nowhere lifestyle, okay? And then you complaining because shit is not the 4 seasons for you. You wrong for that. You 100% wrong for that, because black women, get out of that bullshit about having the kids, because the kids are not the problem. A woman can have any amount of children she wants to. It's up to her to get up off her ass and take care of those kids that she's gonna have. Y'all could be out there on that fantasy shit about worrying about men when you have children by men, but they are never responsible and they are never anyone to count on. So if you ever do anything in this life, if you can't hold that shit down by yourself, don't fucking do it, because they are not there to help you. And that has been historically their fucking stance, their behavior, their mentality, and what they show you since the beginning of fucking time. So I don't know why y'all keep thinking that if it's a different situation, a different type of man, or marriage, or none of that shit is important. They will let you down every time you turn around, and it does not fucking matter. So if you can't do it on your own, don't fucking do it. I don't know what y'all don't get about a motherfucker is supplemental. He's not going to take care of you. As much as you would like to believe in fairy tales, they're not. They are simply not. Anyway, I just had to share that because when it comes to New York City, I like people to get the real information, because I really can't stand how people like to portray all these stereotypes about here that are never based in fucking fact. And I mean that literally, to the depth of the situation, the depth of the content of the conversation. I'm not talking about frivolous bullshit, trivial shit like, do people commit crime? They do that shit everywhere. There's no perfect community. But I'm talking about what I explained to you today. When a person is given ample fucking opportunity to literally come up from out, how y'all say, out the mud or out the dirt, there's no reason for you to be fucked up still, and you got all these advantages. I mean, even with the fact that we just got this new budget where they're doing all these cuts to housing, they're still gonna make it work here. They cannot afford for this city to come to a grinding halt. So they will take money from anywhere they need to make it work. Everybody here knows that. So when she's doing this, it's because she's just a woman that does not want shit for herself. Let me tell you how they bend over backwards to kiss everybody's ass here to make them be somebody. A year ago, right? It was still stagnant. People still didn't have jobs. So you know what they did here? They said, oh, okay, we're going to open it up where we can have people work part-time where they used to work full-time, right? And we're also going to make schooling available to them part-time with full financial aid. Whereas before, you could never have full financial aid if you was going to school part-time. It would have to be full-time. So now you get full-time full-time governmental grants and scholarships. The way they do it here is TAP and Pell, right? Senator Pell and the TAP program. So you get a full free ride. So for her to be sitting there crying about her apartment, she is just literally being a drama queen. Yeah, you got a problem. It's acknowledged. I know it's fucked up to live like that. But you can do many things about that. Your attorney can do many things about that. But if you don't want to keep fighting and living like that, you need to get your ass into one of these CUNY colleges or any of the online colleges. You know they're going to pay for it. Get a real career. Become a nurse, doctor, an attorney, something that's going to make you immediate money after you graduate. An engineer. Engineers are always working. Construction is always working down here, okay? Just look around the city and see the things that's always moving. You get into that field, okay? And get your ass in school, graduate, and upgrade your life. She has the ability to do that. But if she wants to just come on here complaining about her situation and constantly creating that situation, there ain't shit any of us could do about that, because she's, like I said in the beginning, she's settling into a false bag of self-pity. That's it. She's sitting around with her head on her hand all day instead of getting up and going, you know, they got this opportunity over here. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Talking about it on YouTube is not changing it. It's not. Because let me tell you something. They're going to fix her apartment. They're going to fix her apartment and put her in it, or they're going to fix her apartment and put her relocate her somewhere else until it's completely finished. That's the end of this story. So I don't know why she's going on here. But if she can, because it's her right, but that's the end of the story. Y'all have a good day.